cat mom and holistic health seeker who, after suffering an injury that wouldn't heal, was led on a journey to seek out alternative, holistic, and natural medicine. She now shares what she learned, helping people and their cats along their path to holistic health. Pam has taken courses in holistic health for animals, muscle testing, and animal communication. Please welcome Pam back to News for the Soul.
Happy Monday, everyone. It's Pam with Perfectly Holistic. I am so happy to be back with you guys tonight. It's been such a quick 4 weeks since we were last together. And so if you guys are watching on Facebook or on YouTube, be sure to drop a comment in here. I'd love to say hi and see where all of you guys are tuning in from and joining us from today. So, hey, Dee Dee, nice to see you here. We have a very interesting topic tonight, and some of it's going to be part of my own personal journey, but in general, things that I have learned along the way and used over the last several years that were just so powerful. And some people may not even be aware that these things even exist. So I thought it would be a great time to just bring some of those to light and share them with you guys because they really are pretty incredible when you look at the big picture. So, okay, I want to say hi to, Facebook user. I can't, is that Christine? I don't know. I can't tell. I see Facebook user on my comments. Anyway, and then Dee Dee's here. Diego's mom, how are you? So, yes, guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. Hey, Laura Lee, nice to see you here too. Okay, so tonight's topic is called the spiritual journey, how animals and other tools can help raise our consciousness. And I want to talk about that word consciousness. Consciousness means awareness, it means being awake. So it's like bringing our awareness to things that we didn't realize before, even though we might be awake, but we weren't really awake, if you know what I mean. Things come into our circle, they come into our knowledge base, I guess you will. You learn things you never knew before. You start to see a bigger picture. You start to be able to tie things all together. And so that's what this consciousness is. It's an awakening process. Learning who you are on the inside, who we are as a spiritual being, because we are all spiritual beings walking around in earth suit. So basically that's the long and the short of it. So tonight's show, first of all, I want to say hi, Vicky. Hi, Vicky. It's Pumpkin's mom. Okay, so here we go. Couple of things to start off with. Tonight's show is not about, I don't want to bring confusion. I don't want to confuse religion with spirituality. They are two different things. Tonight's ideas are not meant to replace faith in God or your relationship with God in any way. I'm a very spiritual person. I'm not a religious person. I grew up in church all my life. It's a wonderful thing. It's great. I'm not knocking any of that. I just want to focus on who we are as a spiritual being. So we want to connect with the spirit inside us, our sentient soul, if you will, and learn more about who we are individually as a spirit being or spiritual being. I've got pages of notes here, so I hope I can get through all of this. And I have a special treat for you guys as we get probably 2/3 of the way into the show tonight. So be sure to stick around for that. So I'm going to go through some things, kind of give you some framework as, when we're talking about spirituality and consciousness. I love the quote from Nikola Tesla. He says, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. We are souls or spirit having a human experience. We are energy. We are spirit embodied. When we die, we drop the body. The spirit, the soul, continues and lives on. And energy can never be destroyed. It only changes forms. So I want you to keep that in mind as we go through this tonight. Um, everything has there are sentient beings all around us, not just humans, but your animals are sentient beings. It is understood that Mother Earth actually has her own sentient. She is a sentient being. She is constantly changing and evolving. So it's all around us. We have to just become aware of that. So everything has meaning, and we have to discover the message. And that's going to be one of the important messages for tonight. Symbolism is powerful, so we have to find the meaning. I'm going to teach you some tools how to do that. So, our divine creator created all things and making them special and meaningful. And some of the things we have been told via religion are just simply not true. They are meant to keep us from learning who we really are and what we're capable of doing and becoming. Um, so my one of my I guess one of the things that I started to do many years ago was question everything. Um, Not question that if there's a God, there's truly a God, there's a divine creator. Um, some people call that, the universe. Some people call it source. Some people call it the one that the what is it? All that is, God, creator, divine creator. There's all sorts of words, but there is a creator for sure. So question everything and do your own research. Keep an open mind and keep an open heart. Because when we open ourselves to learn things that were not in our perimeter, things that we grew up with, things that we were taught, it allows you to learn, it allows you to grow and discover some things about yourself and about the world that you live in and about your spiritual nature and the abilities that you have. I did not grow up understanding that I have the ability of telepathy. That was never even a concept. So, imagine learning how to do that years later, and I'm going to talk about that. But that's an example of something that we were never taught. We have this ability. In fact, we were probably taught just the opposite. Like, don't look into the certain things because it's bad. It's labeled. And I think you have to go question, well, why do you say that? Where does it say it's bad? Why are we being told something? Is it to control what we think? Is it to control what we do? Is it to keep us down? So you have to question. I question everything. So I'm going to start because my journey started with Snow Bear and his untimely passing. I mean, I guess I could say untimely, but in the big picture, in God's timing, that was perfect. It was not a very wonderful experience. Anyone who's lost a pet knows how painful that can be. But when he died unexpectedly after a week of being revaccinated so that he could be boarded, that was required by the boarding facility, it rocked my world. And I held so much guilt because I knew that wasn't something that was in his highest and best good. And I'm going to try not to cry. It happened and I can't change it. And he's still with me. And I know that. But I have to tell you, I held so much guilt. And I suffered. I know it's hard. And those feelings still come up even today. So it's and sometimes it surprises me. Sometimes I can talk about it and it doesn't, and I don't get emotional, but for some reason it is tonight. So I'm sorry. I started, no, I know it was divine. I was somehow watched a video, read a story somewhere on YouTube about this amazing woman who communicated with some wild, I think they were leopards or panthers, in a sanctuary somewhere in South Africa. and how she helped them overcome their fear and their trauma of understanding where, their situation. And so it was really amazing because the information that she got when she talked to these wild leopards or panthers changed their whole demeanor. They went from being very defensive, not understanding their circumstances of why they were in this sanctuary and captured and whatever. And they stopped being aggressive. They felt heard. And I was floored by that story. And I thought, oh my gosh, I didn't know we could talk to animals before. So I started researching. I started, do we all do? We get online and we go on Google and we start talk to animals or whatever. So I found, by God's grace, I found the Lightfoot Way, thelightfootway.com. Go look them up. They teach animal communication, and they had a course coming up. This was about 3 months after Snow died. And hi, Marilyn. So I signed up. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it was hard. Let me tell you, the course itself wasn't hard. It was emotionally hard for me to go through that. It was a teleconference. It was 8 hours and it was a Sunday. And I can't tell you, I did not have a dry eye that whole time. It was really hard to get through, to even talk on this conference and just share what we're learning, share our meditations and things that we're sung. I cried the whole time. You can ask the teachers. I was horribly embarrassed, but at the same time, it was a very healing process. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that I learned through that whole process, through that training. And I went through an advanced training like a couple months later. It was much better experience because I wasn't crying the whole time. So, but it opened my eyes. It brought me into an awareness of things that I had never heard of. And I'll tell you, they made such an impact and impression on me. I still to this day use some of these things. I mean, every day. It's just like I said, it broadens your awareness, it raises your consciousness, it opens your eyes to things that were always there that you never saw because you weren't aware of them, because you didn't know. So the first thing, of course, was animal communication. That was the first step on my journey. And I learned how we can talk with animals using telepathy. Yes, it's real. And it opened me up to learning different ways of using intuition. So there are 4 different types of intuition. One is clairvoyance, where you see images. Okay. One is claircognizance, where you have just a sense of knowing. I like to call them downloads. It's like all of a sudden the information is in your head. You're like, oh, where'd that come from? I just know. Okay. Clairsentience is recognizing feelings, and clairaudience is hearing voices. And no, it doesn't mean you're crazy. We all have the psychic ability, but it's been stuffed down. It's been overlooked. It's been poo-pooed, as like, oh, that doesn't exist. That's impossible, because that's what we've been told and grew up thinking all of our lives, right? So one of the things that I have 2 very strong forms of intuition that I have developed. One is claircognizance. I get downloads. I just know. And the other one is seeing. I see things in my head. I see words. I see pictures. So if I am trying to communicate with an animal, for example, and I'm asking questions or even going through my consultations and my muscle testing, I will see words. I will just know the remedies that just come into my head that are what is needed for the particular pet. And I muscle test for confirmation. It's bizarre. It's wild. It's fascinating. I have to share. Okay. So one of the things that we learned during the animal communication workshops was learning to identify animal totems. So if you've never heard of an animal totem, animal an animal or plant that gives a family or a clan its name, and it serves as a reminder of ancestry. You may have seen like the totem poles of Native Americans. They have different faces of different animals or creatures on it, and they're symbolizing something about that family or that tribe, that clan. So with animal totems, the animal totem guides pick you. And I think this is fascinating. And they guide and teach you on your spiritual journey. And Native American cultures believe that each person has 9. I think that's fascinating. I don't know about you, but I love the thought of having 9 guides all around me all the time, as well as all the angels and everything else. We are so protected. We are so covered in love. I can't even tell you. Um, so, for animal totems, when we were going through our class, we did several meditations in order to find our animal totems. And that was part of the intention of determining, finding out which animal totems came forward in our meditation and showed themselves to us. And I remember we were going through ours, we focused on 3. I know 3 that I have for sure. And my totems are the deer, or rather the stag, the bear, and the wild boar. I'm going to show you. I'm going to share my screen here in just a second. I'm going to show you some pictures to give you an idea. Okay. Well, I'm going to show you kind of what I was looking for when I did. Okay. So here's the deer. Okay. This is one of my animal totems. And the deer, I mean, this is what represents for me. Okay. Everybody has different animal totems, but I thought this was spot on. And when you learn what your animal totems are, it's fascinating because you see so many of your characteristics popping out at you and go, holy cow, you're right. So, to give you an example, the deer represents instinct, speed, agility, grace, peacemaker, wisdom, gentleness. It provides protection needed to pursue a higher purpose. It easily grasps life's lessons, and it sees opportunities. So these are characteristics of the deer, um, and the symbolism of the deer. Okay, so a lot of those characteristics really reflect a lot about me as a person, as an individual. And then I'm going to tell you, okay, here's the bear. I'm sorry, here's the boar. We'll go with the boar first. So the boar symbolizes bravery, confrontation, truth. I'm all about truth. Courage, justice. I'm all about justice. Righteousness, loyal, persistent, determined, focused, generous, peacemakers, and self confidence. Okay, so that's the wild boar. And let me see if I can find the bear. I have a bear in here somewhere. Okay, here's an example of a totem, just to kind of give you guys an idea. So that's I don't know where that was located, but that was just a cool picture I found on the internet. Let me see if I can go find. I don't see the. Oh wait, yeah, here's the bear. Okay, so the bear. He's beautiful. The bear symbolizes strength, courage, leadership, a guide to others. He raises spiritual level, giving enlightenment and awakening consciousness, and fearless. So I see so much of myself in those animals. I thought it was really, really cool. So I used my animal totems a lot when I was first building my business. and I would do communication, or I would do meditation sessions, and I would call them in and ask, maybe ask a question and just kind of see what downloads and what information I got from them as a guide. And it was just pretty amazing, some of their wisdom that they can share with you, and just taking on or understanding those characteristics and the symbolism behind them. Um, it's pretty powerful. So, so Laura Lee says, can we have some of all of them? Absolutely. Um, you can find basically, well, we'll talk about how you can find them when we get closer to the end of the show. Um, so another thing that I learned in the animal communication session was I learned about spirit animals. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of spirit animals, but they're different from animal totems. A spirit animal is known as a power animal, and they come in and out of our lives, and they're directed by spirit. And they're there to help us with tasks along our journey while teaching us important lessons. Let me give you some examples. The butterfly represents spiritual rebirth and transformation, creativity, infinite potential, vibrant joy, change, and an ability to experience the wonder of life. They can be messengers from spirit as well as signs from deceased loved ones. And notice their colors. Colors are important. We're going to talk about that. So, the butterfly is an example of a spirit animal. Any animal can be a spirit animal. Any animal can be sent by spirit to have a message or be a sign of encouragement. Spirit animals show up when you need them. And sometimes you don't even know they're there. So let's say you are out for a walk, and some beautiful bird flies across your path and sits, and lands in front of you. And you're thinking, oh, what a beautiful bird. That's such a beautiful, cardinal. Let's say it was a red cardinal. It's a beautiful red cardinal. I've never seen a red cardinal around here. That's a sign you need to go look them up. Because spirit could be sending you a message through that red cardinal. And so what you do when you have an encounter like that, let's say you had a cat recently pass away, and then all of a sudden you have butterflies outside your window, or you're sitting outside drinking your coffee and you see a beautiful butterfly that you've never seen before. That can be a message. It could be a message from your cat who passed away, just letting you know that, hey, I'm here. I'm good. Life is good, and I've got this, and I'm right here with you. I haven't left you. I'm just in a different form. It's powerful because they will show up. Another example is the dragonfly. And these are spirit animals that I have had come across my path in the last 7 years. That's why I'm bringing them up. I would see beautiful butterflies, different colored patterns, and I'd go look them up because they all have a different meaning. The dragonfly, I used to live in Houston, and we had an empty lot next to us, and there were always dragonflies. Just they would seem to just come out of nowhere and just be buzzing around. And I don't know if you've been around a lot of dragonflies, but typically you'll see like the green ones or the brown ones, but they come in so many different colors. And when something out of the ordinary pops into your view, like a purple or a red dragonfly that you never see, that's a sign, especially if they start flying around you and like trying to get your attention. If they're trying to get your attention, then there's a reason they're trying to get your attention. So a dragonfly represents transformation, expansion, self-realization, determination, and spiritual pursuits. Notice their colors, because every color has a different meaning. So I was going, this was probably about 2 years ago in August. I was outside, early August, maybe the end of July. Maybe, no, it was probably mid July, 2 years ago. And I was outside with the cats, probably, because I remember I'm never outside without them typically. And all of a sudden, this amazing red dragonfly started buzzing all around. I'd never seen a red dragonfly. I'm like, holy cow, what is this thing? So as soon as I could, I went in and I looked it up, and the symbolism was about transformation. And it was a red dragonfly, which symbolized about change, like death, rebirth, like start of something new. And or end of a one chapter closing, a new chapter beginning. And I thought, I wonder if that's my job. This was 2 years ago. No, it was my marriage. I found out 1 month later. Okay, that was all changing. So that was a warning to me that, hey, heads up, change is on the horizon. Be on the lookout. Something's going to happen. And sure enough, within 4 weeks, it did. Okay, so that was the beginning of the end of the marriage. But that was powerful for me, and I never forgot that. Another spirit animal that came into my life a lot was the ladybug. And the ladybug symbolizes luck and positivity. It's a sign that your dreams are manifesting and opportunities are coming your way. It's a messenger who wants to tell you that start taking action toward your dream and find your bliss. And don't rush the process, and go with the flow, and everything will be revealed when the time is right. I used to have ladybugs, like little swarms of ladybugs, coming into my guest room at my old house. It faced the west, and there was a beautiful French door that opened out with a little fake patio thing. It was like, you can't really stand out there very much. I don't know how they got in the house. I don't know if they crawled in through a gap in the window. I don't know. I still can't, I couldn't tell you to this day. But I would have ladybugs in that bedroom, like for weeks. They would come. I'd capture as many as I could and let them outside because I didn't want them to die inside. But they kept coming back and coming back. I had meditations where I'd have a ladybug show up in the middle of my meditation, and it was a major part of the meditation. These are not by accident. And this was along the journey of building my business. So those messages from the ladybugs were very powerful, and they meant something. Another spirit animal that I had was the bat. The bat flew, a small bat flew into my home. It was about, it was September of last year in Houston. And it was probably about 8 o'clock at night. And all of a sudden, I'm working downstairs, and all of a sudden, the house is quiet, and the cats are nowhere to be found. And I'm kind of sort of aware that they're not any, like, I don't know where they are. And then all of a sudden, I hear them running down the stairs, and like I could sense something was going on behind me, and something kind of fluttered by my head. And I'm like, who's that? And I look around, and there's a bat in my house, and the cats are chasing it. I don't know how it came in. I don't know how long it was in there, but it was a little bat. Fortunately, I was able to rescue it, threw a towel over it, grabbed it, took it outside and let it go, and it was fine. But that is a major symbol. Like, when does a bat fly into your home? So the bat symbolizes the end of old ways and old life, and it could also signify rebirth. You may be going through a significant change in your life for the better. The bat has incredible senses to navigate obstacles in its path, and many nocturnal animals symbolize wisdom in moving from dark to light. Well, that was 3 months before I sold my house and 4 months before my divorce was final and I moved. So that was a major, like, hello, get ready. Life's about to change for the better. And I couldn't tell you how excited I was to get that message. So the hawk is another spirit animal that's come into my life just recently. I sit in front of a window looking outside every day here in the office, and I have a hedge of bushes in front of the windows. And I was working the other day, and all of a sudden, like this bird looked like a chicken jumped out of my hedges and it's chasing the wrens all around. I'm like, holy cow, it was a chicken in my. No, it was a hawk. We have hawks that fly around out here. So, and it's happened twice in 2 weeks. Just the other day, it did it again. I'm like, holy cow, where's this hawk coming from? So, a hawk represents determination and focus and leadership and clarity, future planning, intuitive decision making, protection, and messengers from the spirit realm. So at the time I saw the first hawk, I was in the process of planning out some workshops and some other things, projects that I'm working on. And the second time I saw the hawk, Snow Bear wanted to tell me a message because he showed up that day and was starting to annoy the cats. And so I had to do a meditation from him that night. And he said, I sent that hawk because I wanted to chat with you. So I'm telling you, it's pretty amazing when you open your eyes and you just pay attention to what's around you. Color symbolism is another thing that was an important part of my journey. As I was saying earlier, some color is important. Colors have meaning. So when you are encountering certain animals, for example, that have different colors, pay attention to the color, and I want you to go look up that particular color of that animal, that butterfly, that dragonfly, whatever that that shade is, because you have to understand that we're drawn to certain colors personally for a reason. Like your favorite color might be purple. Mine is purple. I've always been drawn to purple. Purple symbolizes your eighth chakra, your crown chakra. That's your intuition. That's your connection to God, your source. That is so powerful knowing what I know now. Colors are important and they have their own messages, and colors and the chakra system are interconnected. So if you're familiar with the chakra system, the root is red, the sacral is orange, the solar plexus is yellow, the heart chakra is green, the throat chakra is blue, the third eye chakra is like an indigo color, and the crown chakra is amethyst, a purple, like a purple color. So it's amazing when you start to look at the symbolism of the chakras and the colors. Like, we don't have time to go into all the colors, but that's going to be one of the things I want you to do for your homework. I want you to go in and look up the color of red. Why is it associated with the root chakra? What does it symbolize? What does it represent? What does purple stand for? What is the symbology or the symbolism around purple and yellow and green and orange? What do those colors mean? And white, because it's powerful when you learn what those colors symbolize, and then why you'll understand more about yourself. Why am I drawn to a certain color all the time? How can we use colors to enhance our mood, to help ourselves heal emotionally or physically? It's powerful. Here's another tool that's really good. It's not an animal, it's about angels. Angel numbers. If you have never heard of an angel number, this is really cool. So in numerology, angel numbers are number sequences or patterns that contain a repetition. For example, 1111, 555, 333, and you might go through your day and start to see the same repetitive number repeated on your phone, on the clock on the wall, the something you're shopping online and a price is 555, and you're starting to see that same number over and over and over again. That's a message from your angels. They have something to share with you. It's believed that these numbers are messages from the spiritual universe that offer insight, wisdom, and directionality. So when you assign them to angels, guides, ancestors, spirit, or simply a higher state of your own consciousness, angel numbers can confirm you're on the right path. They can shed invaluable insight on a complicated situation. They can illuminate the powerful mystical meaning behind recurrent themes and that you experience through your life. So if you've never paid attention to that, you've got to start paying attention because it's powerful. They show up in random ways, like I said, clocks, pricing, house or street numbers, timestamps, license plates, phone numbers, travel itineraries, you name it. Anything you can imagine. Anywhere there's a number, you can have this happen. To give you an idea, 000 or 4 zeros is a new opportunity is coming. There's a fresh start or a new cycle. Then the 3 ones, 111, or 4 ones, 1111, is a powerful manifestation figure. It's like a green light from the universe, a go, new beginning. The 333 or 3333 is about magnetic creativity. It also represents the Trinity in Christianity. And I have a special story about that. And I want to make sure I don't run too late here so we can do our ending. So my dad passed away in May 22nd of 2018. And he had been struggling with health challenges for 2 years. And then like all of a sudden he just really went downhill and he had to be hospitalized. Then he got out and went into like a specialized care hospital that was kind of like an assisted living, but not. And then within days of going into that place, he had to go back into the hospital and he was just going downhill fast. And it was interesting because the night there, it was a Monday night and it was I guess it was the 21st, the 21st. It was Monday, Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember. I got a phone call at 9:00 that night from my mom in the hospital. And she goes, you better come down and see your dad. I don't think he's going to make it through the night. And so we got in the car and we drove 40 minutes up to the Woodlands to the hospital where he was staying. And all my family was there, of course. I'm like trying not to cry. And so he saw me and he was, he lit all up and everything. And then he just really got really sleepy and he was on some medications and stuff that made him really tired. And so he probably fell asleep, but we think he could still hear, us while we were there. And so when we were, I don't know, probably left about 10:30 or so, and or maybe a little bit later than that. And I went to bed that night and I told him, I just said out loud, say, Dad, come see me. If you pass away tonight, come see me before you go. Sorry. And I had a dream. This was so cool. It's really cool. It's not sad, but I had a really cool dream and I was aware of this because it woke me up. I had a dream. We were in the hospital and it was a dark room and very, very little lighting and there was nobody around. And it was like me looking into the room, and across the way over in the room, I could see my dad, and he was in his hospital gown and he was just like hovering, and his head was down and it was like he was asleep. But just kind of hovering in the air. And that was like, wow, okay, he's passing. And so in my mind, in my dream, I'm like, thank you, Daddy. Thank you for coming to see me before you left. And I woke up and I looked at the clock and it was 3:33. Yes, Laura Lee. 3:33 in the morning. And 3:33, I also learned when you were concerning like a time of death, it's a very popular hour because the veil is the very thinnest at this hour. And many souls transition at this time of night because it's easy for them to do so. but he was also a very strong Christian man. So when you take that 333 Trinity symbolism with that time of night, holy cow, that's powerful. My mom called me at 5:30 in the morning. I was already awake, and she said, "Hey, I just sorry to wake you." I'm like, "No, no, I'm awake." And she goes, "Your dad passed last night." I said, "I know." And she goes, "What do you mean you know?" I said, "Because he came to see me." I said, "What time did he pass?" And she said, 3:33. They called me. I'm like, "I know because I was awake and he came to see me." So yeah, it's powerful. Those numbers matter. So, okay, we have time. I want to make sure I stay on track here. So I hope that was interesting because I find it all fascinating. Um, I want to do a special guided meditation with all of you here. And we're going to pull in some of these elements that I've talked about. And I want you to find a spirit. I want this to be about you discovering something. Okay. I want you to maybe find a connection with an animal, with a spirit guide, um, some symbolism that you can pull out. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through a guided meditation. And this is very similar to one that we did during my animal communication. Um, Kim is a master speaker. Her voice is amazing. And I probably won't do it half as she will do it, but we're going to give it a shot. And it's not exactly the same because it's been a long time. So if you would just do this with me, it would be really awesome. And I promise you're going to love this. Okay, so get comfortable. I just want you to sit in a very comfortable place. Close your eyes. Quiet your mind. Just kind of sit in silence. Turn off your phone. Turn off your TV. Even turn off your lights if you want to. Just sit. And if you want to, just put your hand on your heart and just kind of ground yourself, okay? I want you to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Ignore any thoughts that try to catch your attention. Imagine erasing the chalkboard in your mind behind your eyes. So see yourself just having grab an eraser and just erase all the words and thoughts that are passing behind your eyes at the moment. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. You are becoming very relaxed. Notice the skin around your eyes and across your forehead soften and your body grow even heavier with every exhale. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. You are now so relaxed and feeling very grounded. So I want you to come on a journey with me. We're walking down a pathway outside along this dirt road path. As you're walking along, you come up to a huge old castle. And you just see it sitting there. And there's a big front door, and you walk up and you push open the door and you enter the castle. And you're noticing high ceilings. See some sconces on the wall all around you. And what else do you see? Take a moment to observe everything that you see. What does the air smell like? What do you hear? Now your attention is drawn to a stairwell that leads downstairs, and you make your way slowly down the stairs. Notice that light is growing brighter as you go down, and the air begins to smell a bit musty. Hear the sound of your footsteps as you walk down the stairs. And at the bottom of the stairs, there's a table with lit lanterns of all different colors. Pick one. As you grab your lantern and you turn and you begin to head down a tunnel area, a hallway, if you would, carrying your lantern, notice how the lantern creates shadows all around you and lights your path. How does the air feel? Listen to the sounds of your steps as you walk. Look down beside you and next to you. Is anyone or anything joining you as you walk? Continue walking down the tunnel and notice how above you the ceiling is beginning to look more like a canopy with traces of light coming through the canopy of trees above your head. The air begins to smell fresher and the sounds of your steps soften as you walk. And suddenly you step out into a beautiful open area. You look all around you. What do you see? What surrounds you? This is your happy place, the place you like to go because it fills you with peace and with happiness. It brings joy to your heart. It can be whatever place you want it to be. What kinds of sounds do you hear? You sit down and you start to take it all in, noticing every detail, the sky, the ground, the distance. Suddenly you hear a soft sound and notice an animal coming towards you. What kind of animal or creature or bird is it? Ask it if it has a message for you. And just sit and listen to the message. Now thank the animal for its message. Take a moment to appreciate your surroundings and send gratitude for everything you've seen and heard. Ask your guide, spirit, or God to help you remember all these details. When you're ready, open your eyes. So, my assignment for you, the homework I want you to do when we finish this broadcast, is to write down these details. Were there animals or people or saints or etc.? Who joined you? Who did you see in your meditation on your journey? What color was your lantern? And go look up this color, the symbolism of that color. Look up the animal or the angel or the saint or whatever you saw. Go look up that particular being and see what symbolism it has. And then just notice, think about what other aspects caught your attention on the journey. Was it nighttime? Was it daytime? Was there rain? Was there blue skies? Just all kinds of details. Start to write it down. And then, write down the message that the animal gave you, because that can be very powerful and you probably won't remember it all, but do your best to just write down the message or the general message. So those kind of things you can go look back on. And when you start to piece together all of the animals, the symbolism of the things that you saw or heard, who was with you, what colors were involved, it all starts to paint a picture, and it's powerful. I know when I did this first meditation, I looked down and Snow Bear was next to me. He was walking along the tunnel with me. And when we got out into this beautiful open field, remember this was my happy place, and I could see mountains all around, and there was a bubbling stream, and I could hear the sound of the brook, passing through. And I sat down on a rock, and he sits down in my lap, and he starts to share stuff, and it was powerful. And I could go back and redo that same meditation in my mind at any time, and the animals that came forward were different. So therefore the message was different, but the type of meditation was very similar, if that makes sense. So I would do the same type of journey. It was just interesting. So I hope, and this is my whole intention, is to draw your attention to, or bring your awareness to using these kind of tools of paying attention to numbers, paying attention to spirit guides. Do a meditation and set your intention to connect with one of your animal totems. When you're doing a meditation and you set that intention, you can basically just ask, will one of my animal totems please come forward? And they represent, like, for example, the deer. The deer comes forward representing the deer as a spirit, as a totem, as an animal, and what that spirit embodies, or what that animal embodies, and all of that. It's very interesting, and you could do that over and over again until you find all of your animal totems. And then just pay attention to the animals that cross your path, the things that are out of the ordinary, or things that you keep seeing over and over again and think, wow, that's the third time this week that's happened. It's a message. So don't miss those opportunities, because it is so powerful, and it can be so encouraging. It's meant to encourage us. It's meant to give us, little warnings sometimes. It's meant to just, hey, heads up, this is coming down the pipes, and it could be a few weeks, it could be a few months, but we wanted to let you know that this is, things are going to be changing, or you need to be on the lookout for this and this. It's powerful. I mean, doing stuff like this over the last 7 years kept me going, because I would get so much encouragement. And while I was building a company and working a full-time job that I was ready to leave because I wanted to do this full time, and it wasn't time yet. And I tell you, most people would probably have quit and just given up. But me, I'm a little headstrong, I'm a little stubborn, but I was focused, and I was like, no, I know I'm on the right path. I just have to keep going, and I have to wait, and I have to wait until it's the right time. So it can be encouraging. And I just say, keep an open mind, because you might be surprised, some of the message that come through, and you're not quite prepared to see them. But it's important that we pay attention. So anyway, that's kind of what I had in mind. What were your thoughts? Anybody's, did you like the meditation? Did you get anything out of that? I hope it was interesting. I find it fascinating. And again, these are tools that I was not even aware of until I took that first animal communication class, because then I learned about stuff. And I'm so grateful that I have learned, because I can appreciate things on a whole nother conscious level. And it teaches me about my spiritual my spiritual side, my connection to God, my connection to the energy of this universe that is so powerful. Um, it's hard to put into words how powerful it is until you've experienced it. So that is my wish for you, that you can experience some of these things and develop a greater consciousness and take your awareness to a different level, because that's how we grow. That's how we grow from 3D bodies to 5D. We're in the Great Awakening. People's conscious levels are raising, and so it's time to wake up. And so these are some beautiful tools that can help you do it. So yeah, so Laura Lee says, my bunny told me to put one foot in front of the other, slow and steady. It will all come together in time. Yes, that's beautiful. And go look up the bunny. Go look up the bunny symbolism. It's amazing. And the color. Okay. So that is all I have to share with you guys tonight. Thank you so much for sticking around and for being with us. And for those of you who are watching in the United States, have a wonderful and blessed Thanksgiving. I hope you have some time to relax and share some time with family and friends this week. And we will be back next month with more fun. So thank you. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you in December. Bye, y'all.